Hey guys, it's Meta89 here and welcome to this God of War Honest Review. The game came out on April 20th on PS4 exclusively, and it was developed and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment, the Santa Monica studio. And I know the game came out a few months ago, but since I just bought the PS4, I wanted to review some PS4 exclusives, and what better way to start things off than with God of War, right? By the way, shout out to keyhub.com and buygames.ps who provided me with the game to make this video possible. Keyhub is a price comparison website and Buygames is the cheapest PlayStation game seller according to Keyhub. I'll talk about them more in detail at the end of this vid, but don't forget to check out their links and the 20% discount code in the description. Back to the review now. The first God of War game came out in 2005 on PlayStation 2. You play as Kratos, a Spartan demigod from the Greek mythology. Now the latest God of War game, the one I'm reviewing right here, is very different from the previous ones. It's not just a hack and slash game anymore. It turned into an action RPG, but we'll talk about those RPG elements in a minute. For now, let's start with the graphics. The game is fucking beautiful. Like seriously, long story short, I'm a PC gamer and I'm used to looking at some really good graphics, but God of War just looks amazing, both technically and artistically. The way levels are designed is so smart that it doesn't let you get used to the graphics, you know, it changes things up every now and then and it still gives you that wow effect every time you discover a new location. So the graphics are gonna get a 10 out of 10. Moving on to the sound, then we're gonna start with music. The soundtrack is composed by Bear McCreary and you can find the whole soundtrack on YouTube if you want to listen to it, because it's just amazing. Here is a short sample before we move on to the sound effects.
That's what you get!
Boy.
The sound effects are about as good as the graphics, which helps a lot with the immersion. I mean that and the great voice acting. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I usually skip cutscenes because I never really feel like the dialogues are interesting enough, or maybe because the animations aren't good enough. I don't know, but the point is, usually cutscenes and dialogues aren't believable enough to me. I'm usually like, yeah, whatever, skip. But on God of War, when I watch cutscenes, I don't see two virtual characters talking. It actually feels like watching a freaking movie, and that's why I'm gonna give the sound a 10 out of 10. I'll let you listen to the audio for like 15 seconds before we talk about gameplay.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
No. Why would you? You do not know my ways.
Having awesome graphics and audio is great, but if the gameplay isn't good enough or if it's way too limited and only based on QuickTime events, then it can turn a sick game into an average one, at least in my opinion. Thankfully, that's not the case with God of War. The gameplay is really good and I'm glad they added RPG elements like upgrading your weapons, armors, and also unlocking new skills and buying new gear. And before I forget, the game has 17 chapters. I mean, that's the main quest, but there are also side quests that you could do to make the game last longer. Also, solving puzzles and unlocking chests that contain enchantments and pieces of armor. Not only it's fun, but it also encourages exploration and it adds a little diversity to the game, because you really don't want to just fight and fight and fight, otherwise you'll get bored at some point, right? Even though the fighting mechanics are well done, which is probably why whenever some enemies show up, I'm never like, oh man, another fight? But I'm more like, get over here. So the gameplay is also gonna get a 10 out of 10. Now you'll need around 25 hours to beat the game without doing any side quests or unlocking chests and getting all the items, because if you did that, then you would probably need maybe 50 hours to finish the game 100%. Keep in mind there's no new game plus though, but if you love God of War, you could probably play it again on the hardest difficulty and have a game that's about as hard as Dark Souls. Plus the story is so good, you probably won't mind starting the game over a few months after having finished it, just like you would watch a good movie a few times and still enjoy it every single time. So I'm also gonna give the replayability a 10 out of 10. Moving on to the fun factor, and I have to say I didn't get bored a single time while playing this game, not even for a second. Even cutscenes are fun to watch and really interesting. Maybe it's because the graphics are great, and if the characters looked like shit, I would probably have a hard time getting into the story. Or maybe if the voice acting sucked, but since everything is perfect, I had tons of fun watching cutscenes, and most importantly, I had tons of fun playing the game. So I'm gonna give the fun factor a 10 out of 10. Last but not least, when it comes to the value for money, the game still costs $60 on the PS Store, and for the amount of fun that you get, I think it's well worth the money. I mean, if you buy it using the links in the description, it would cost you around $32 if you use my discount code. But even if you paid full price for the game, it would still be 100% worth it, so the value for money is also gonna get a 10 out of 10. If for some reason you haven't played God of War yet, I really recommend that you do so, unless it's not your cup of tea at all. But if you like action adventure games with a touch of RPG, then you'll love God of War. I'm really glad I sold my Xbox and I got the PS4 instead, but anyways, I'm gonna give God of War a 10 out of 10. I haven't played the game this good in a very long time, like seriously. Anyways, I hope you found this review useful, and if there are any other PlayStation 4 exclusive games that came out earlier this year and you want me to review them, just let me know that in the comments down below and I'll probably make it happen. Special thanks to KeyHub and Buy Games who provided me with the game and made this video possible. Both their links are in the description, so make sure you check them out. BuyGames.ps offer lifetime warranty on all of their products because they sell accounts with games on them, not just game keys. But anyways, they have a tutorial on their website on how to install a game. It's really easy. Basically, you just gotta add a secondary account using the email and password they give you, and then you just download the game and play it on your main account. And that's gonna be it for this late God of War review. Don't forget to leave a like if you found it useful. It's been Hitman89. See you guys very soon.
Team, my brothers, I'm out here trying to run us. The rest of y'all trying to trump us, but it's hands up, no handouts, no stand-ins. I stand out. I built this bitch from the ground up. I got the plans out. This my house. Yeah, I came in this bitch with a dream and a fifth. Only people I trust is my team and my bitch. Every night it was Curry. Now I cannot miss. RIP to you haters, you will not be missed.